Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, currently ranking and reviewing every single Frank Zappa album released after he passed away in December of 1993, and I'm currently on number 32, Roxy by Proxy. If you watched number 33, Roxy, the soundtrack, I apologize because I'm going to repeat some of the same information I repeated on that one, because this one is ranked where it is because of the stuff I talked about. For the same reason the Roxy soundtrack was ranked as number 33, in that everything on this CD, literally, is available on the Roxy performances. So we have the Zappa Family Trust, or whoever's releasing these. There's 4 official Roxy releases, 10 discs total. You have Roxy and Elsewhere, which is... So Frank booked the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles in December of 73, played a run of shows, recorded the shows, was going to make a movie. There was a problem with the sound syncing with the video. The movie was never released until recently, but the album Roxy and Elsewhere was released. Roxy and Elsewhere is tracks from the Roxy shows with overdubs, plus 2 tracks from Elsewhere, a May 74 show, the Oh No, the Son of Orange County, and More Trouble Every Day come from the Elsewhere shows. So you have the original Roxy and Elsewhere release. Then in 2014, this was released, Roxy by Proxy. Different live tracks that were not on Roxy and Elsewhere, and also did not have overdubs. Some of the same tracks, but without overdubs. Possibly different performances. And then in 2015, Roxy, the soundtrack, came out as a CD that came along with the DVD or the Blu-ray of Roxy, the movie. That was my number 33. And then in 2018, the Roxy Performances came out, which was a 7-disc box set, which contained all of the complete Roxy shows, plus rehearsals. And I'm going to review that much further down the line as we get closer to number 1. So this is, of the other 3 releases, this is my favorite. If I were to include Roxy and Elsewhere, in this, I think this would probably top Roxy and Elsewhere, because 1, there's no overdubs. It's got some of the same material. It does not have the Son of Orange County, More Trouble Every Day, which I love, but what it does have that Roxy doesn't have, I think is better. This also has so if you consider Roxy by Proxy and Roxy the soundtrack as sandwiches, they are the exact same sandwich in the middle. However, the bread is different. So pick 2 types of bread that you like, one that you like a lot and one that you like even more. This one, Roxy by Proxy, has the bread that you like even more, or at least that I like more. And then Roxy, the soundtrack, has really good bread, but I don't like it quite as much. So meaning the opening and closing tracks are different on each, but the meat is the same. So this is what you get on this one. It opens up with Carved in the Rock, which is Frank introducing the band, talking about the Nazca lines in Peru, the Inca Roads, kind of setting up the song Inca Roads. Then we get one of the early versions of Inca Roads. This is the one that does not have the one-size-fits-all beginning, that dun 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 dun. That's not there yet. Either is the guitar solo. This one starts off with George Duke kind of doing this like this. There's this jazz, like, did a vehicle. It's really low key, a lot of like just really cool kind of jazz keyboards. And then once they kick into it, it goes straight into the post solo part. And then they go into the song and people get solos in the little solo section. Still a great performance. It's just, we haven't yet got our guitar solo in here yet. But a great song nonetheless, and it's still 8 minutes long because they completely jam out that solo part. Then you get a whole bunch of songs which are on this and Roxy the soundtrack. You get Penguin in Bondage, but it's a different Penguin in Bondage than the Roxy the soundtrack version. You get Tamershi Dween, the Dog Breath variations in Uncle Meat, Dog Meat, and Redunzel. So you get that complete run, that medley of songs, which was common for that band. Then you get another run of songs. This time you get the complete run. On Roxy, the soundtrack, you get Echidna's Harp of You into Don't You Ever Wash That Thing. Here you get Village of the Sun and Echidna's Harp of You and Don't You Ever Wash the Thing. This also is The Village of the Sun doesn't have the overdubs that Roxy and Elsewhere has, so I think this is a slightly more enjoyable. Frank's kind of not weak guitar, but it's not as dominant as on the Roxy and Elsewhere. It's kind of a neat little sound on the Village of the Sun, which I like. Then you get then the Don't You Ever Wash That Thing goes directly into Cheapness, the percussion version, in which the three drummers just play the percussion parts from that. And then Frank kind of says, "Oh, you've been fooled. Now we're going to play the real song." Then they play Cheapness. All of that is also on Roxy the Soundtrack. But it is these last two tracks that definitely make this, for me, a more enjoyable listen. Where that one ended with Bebop Tango, I think, was just the only different track at the end. I just literally did that video, and I cannot remember what the last one was. Yeah, the last one was the Bebop Tango. Oh, there's also... no, that's it. The last one just ends with 17 minutes of the Bebop Tango. This one ends with 24 minutes of one. You get a 15-minute Dupree's Paradise. So it starts with the hook, which is that bum bum bana bana bum bum bana bana, which means then George gets to improvise some stuff, and usually Frank and Napoleon sometimes say stuff. So you get that whole intro thing, and then you go into Dupree's Paradise proper. And I think one of the best moments in all of Frank is that transition, that segue from when Duke is finally done improvising and they're about to go into Dupree's Paradise, and there's this this run of like percussion and piano that's just like beautiful, and then they go in the dun, 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 right into Dupree's Paradise. Oh, it just gets me every time. And then the closing is the encore, which was common for this tour, which is the King Kong into Chunga's Revenge into Mr. Green Jeans medley. About 9 minutes. Almost everybody gets a solo. Bruce Fowler gets a solo in King Kong, which is phenomenal. Going back to Dupree's Paradise, there's a Napoleon flute solo. I'm pretty sure it's a flute. Tom Fowler on bass gets a solo, and he pretty much essentially, after he solos for a while, goes into the do 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 do, starts playing the Montana, that post solo kind of weirdness in Montana. He starts playing that, and then Frank gets a solo. So yeah, just those last two songs, the Dupree's Paradise and the King Kong Chunga's Mr. Green Jeans, kind of push this much closer than Roxy the Soundtrack. But both of them fall to this point because Roxy Performance is out there, and I'm one of those people who, if I'm going to sit down and listen to a whole bunch of music, I want a whole show. I love being able to put on, and even though the Roxy Performances, some of the shows are, divided up between two CDs, because they won't all fit on one, I still would rather listen to a complete show than this, which is performances from a bunch of different shows. But anyways, it's still great. It's a good listen. If Roxy and Elsewhere did not exist, or the Roxy Performances did not exist, this would be much, much closer to number one, as would Roxy the Soundtrack. But yeah, and the sound is phenomenal. The band is phenomenal. This is just a great listen, and I recommend it. If you're not that into, if you don't want every single Roxy show over 7 discs, I think this Roxy by Proxy is the one to get. And this may actually change your mind about whether you want the Roxy Performances, to be honest with you. But anyways, that's all I got to say about this one. Phenomenal release. But that's why it's so far back here at number 32. Roxy by Proxy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe because of the algorithms and all that crazy stuff. It exposes, apparently the more people that subscribe, the more time it pops up in other people's feed, and then maybe people will watch and they'll go buy some more Zappa music, and we can spread the love of the music. That is the goal of this channel. So, all right, take care, y'all. Peace. Bye.